Network Entertainment.
You're listening to Now Steaming, and we're going to be doing something different here as we are well underway into our second season in 2025. If you're watching us on the video, you're noticing a fourth person here. My name is Stancy, by the way. As always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, the co-creators of So Asian Comics, Kimberly Mas and Cedric Cheng. And the fourth voice you are about to hear is actually our fourth member of the team. Ever since we rebooted the podcast, it would not be this sophisticated without the input and the guidance of one of my old friends from college, my old classmate at the UP College of Media and Communication. I'm using the new name now.
Yeah.
Ranel Cheng joins us here on this episode. So Ranel is also Chinoy. He's from Bacolod. We go back a long, long ways. And for this mailbag episode, Ranel, you were actually one of the ones who was super excited to do something like this.
Yeah. Definitely. It's like I literally do background work. So I'm literally now out of the GC or group chat.
Yes.
And now here with you. I get to read all these comments as well and all the messages that we get. So I guess that's why I'm here to talk about the behind the scenes stuff, right?
Yeah, not really like pulling back the curtain. More of pag-usapan lang natin yung mga messages that are being
Yes.
sent to us by our listeners, by our community. And Kim, you and I first met in radio so many years ago.
Yeah.
And this is the type of stuff that we used to do on the air, diba? Na we'll put out like a topic of the day and then people will text in. Remember those days na
Yeah.
you would send your messages to like a 4-digit
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
and then babasahin siya ng DJ on the air. So we're kind of bringing that stuff back here on the podcast. For the younger ones who are listening, yes, there was a time when you could text to the DJ on the radio and then they'll read your message.
Tapos aabangan mo pa.
Oh, abangan mo pa. And if
Tas
you
hindi
miss
binasa.
it, yeah, if you miss it, you'll be like, "Oy, can you read my name again?"
Or when you get calls, right? It's the same idea. So back in the day. Back in the day.
So for the mailbag episode, we decided to get from yung normal experiences natin, diba? When we first started doing the podcast, it was us ranting about stuff that we grew up with, yung childhood natin as Chinoy. So it's kind of going back to the spirit of that, and we asked our listeners and our community, what is something you wish you could say to our Chinoy elders? And we realized that this is a very loaded question and loaded topic, and we can tell right away that it's loaded because 99.9% of the responses, these people said, "Please keep me anonymous."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well,
Well, it throws me back to like what was that website before where you could just ask somebody anonymous question? I don't know if it's still
Formspring.
Yeah, Formspring.
Oh, yeah,
Meron pa rin ngayon, may
Meron pa
NGL.
rin.
Yeah.
Ayun, yeah, that's the new
Curious
Formspring.
Cat still a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
God. And also, what's nice is that you mentioned like back in the first season, right? We were like just ranting on camera, right? But now the audience gets to rant with us.
Yeah.
For this.
These are actual responses, not something we generated.
Like these are not out in the public comments, but
Oh,
these
dito
were like
AI. Di Chino yung AI.
like this was like privately DM'd to us.
Yes.
Like we have a list here.
Yes, privately DM'd, but
Yeah.
may I add, meron pa rin silang additional request to be anonymous.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we also posted to our social media,
Yeah.
open for their comments.
Yes.
The comment section looks like
There's nothing.
mga
Yeah.
ano lang, mga emojis and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
But ang laman
Oh,
na
yes.
behind the scene.
Well, ako yung isa sa mga emojis doon to keep the algorithm up. I was like, yeah, this post has to like be bumped up, right,
Yes,
of the algorithm.
yes.
So may mga ganun. But yeah, majority of the messages are either coming like either a private messages to us
Yes.
or it's a private message to our Facebook page or Instagram.
Feeling ko it's also because of yung pagpapalaki sa atin na wag kang gagawa ng gulo or don't bring shame to the family or to the household. To a degree, it's like the paise culture,
Yeah.
diba? Na you don't
Yeah.
want to bring shame to your parents. Tingnan mo yung anak ko, kung ano na sinasabi
Yeah.
in this podcast, blah, blah, blah.
Wala na, too late for us na.
Yeah.
Too late for us, nandito na kami.
And it's a small community.
And it's a
right?
small community.
Yeah.
Right? Word
someone
gets
might
around.
hear it.
Yeah.
Tapos pag-uusapan yan sa
I
Viber
think-
chat ng mga uncle and auntie.
Oh, naka-screen cap na or naka-screen record na. I I think
wait
there's-
on your next Gloria Maris meetup.
Yeah, I think there's also an additional layer of tapang or parang ang dami mong pwedeng sabihin pag
Yes.
anon ka talaga eh. And I think it really helps a lot
Yeah.
of our, yung mga iba dyan na paise or nahihiya, di ba? Parang it's okay to say out all these things. It's actually very meaty when I'm looking at like all the numbers here.
Yeah, so let's start. Let's start with the first response. So again, what's something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders? So anonymous female corporate slave says, 2025 na. Stop being inflexible and narrow-minded. And I think this one doesn't really need much layering
Yeah.
or context kasi medyo general sentiment siya. Not even just across Chinoys, but even Filipinos in general na mga kaedad natin.
Yeah.
Like,
We hear na 20. This one, yung ang lalim ng hugot because like
It's the year.
It's the year na talaga. And you also have to contextualize na parang these are people who literally are growing up but also see their parents grow up
Yes.
and yet still seem inflexible or narrow-minded. Frustration.
like siguro like on my end, I relate to this one because personal anecdote was back when I graduated from college 2014, the concept of working from home wasn't a thing yet, or nor was it widespread. So I was one of those people now, my first jobs was like work from home, but I get paid a full salary. My parents didn't like it and they didn't consider it a real job. So on my end, even though like I had that, and that was the kind of job that everybody wanted, I had the time to do other freelance work to supplement my income. But at that time, 2014, like parents wanted like just 9 to 5. And then I did. But what happened was, yes, I have a 9 to 5 job, but I don't have the energy and time to do freelance projects because I'm burned out. So
The thing is now naging thing na
and
yung
then
work
now
from
it
home.
became a thing, right? So on my end, like number one, that spoke to me. Even though generalization, it sounds generalizing, but for me, it's like that happened to me, and I can pull from experience. But thankfully, what happened was eventually my parents opened up to the idea because of the pandemic, and then people started working from home. Like, see how that's actually more useful for people.
Medyo advanced ka lang.
Yeah, I was.
Kim, anything?
Ako, I think, wala eh. Parang the statement itself, I can think of so many things that I want to say or parang I can pull from experience. But I think it's a general, I guess, observation. Para kasi, sorry, applicable sa akin yung anon. Kasi di ba anon, female, 30s, pero hindi lang ako corpus slave. So,
Yeah.
I get it. Parang my parents din, I mean, even though I'm not a corpus slave, di ba, I'm doing all these things. I'm on a podcast. I'm doing comics. I'm doing like other things on the side. So it's just it's a new concept to my parents who work a 9 to 5. And I think for a while, same case as said, na parang they would feel like, oh, it's not a real job. Are you actually earning money? How much do you get per podcast episode? I'm like, I don't want to enumerate. Pero yun nga, I just want to tell them also, you have to be flexible because there are so many new concepts right now that you can just take in and embrace.
And also, diba, as diba, Chinoys who are supposed to be businessmen, right? Entrepreneurs, you're supposed to innovate.
Yes.
Right?
Let's answer na yung
Yeah.
question ng parents mo. How
Yeah.
much are you earning per podcast episode? Sabihin natin 100,000
Oh.
times 0. Ayun. Right, next. What's something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders? Kaka-cellphone mo yan eh. Stop clicking random links or sharing hoaxes from anonymous 30-year-old.
Yung kaka-cellphone mo yan, that's a
Linya
phrase.
sa atin yan eh.
Linya sa atin yan. And I think majority of, hindi lang Chinoy, even non-Chinoys can relate to this
Yes.
this
Oh,
statement.
how the tables have turned.
Yes. Na-back to you natin sila.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a funny thing to share about this one. So my mom actually shared na, uy, may parang 5,000 pesos ako na credit sa GCash.
Ay, oh my gosh,
Right?
yeah.
So
no.
this is
That's
one
a
of
new
those
one.
common scams, right?
Yeah.
And she
No,
showed
no,
me
no.
the text and I'm like, did you click the link? And she's like, yes. And I'm like,
Oh.
oh my God. And she's like, pero wala akong nilagay na information. And I'm like, until now, natatakot pa rin ako na kung ano mang information yung baka nakuha from her. But ganun ka-sophisticated na that they
yeah.
actually hack yung
The name.
The name, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like your bank or like your e-wallet or
Yes.
whatever. But yeah, yung parents natin, ano pa sila eh, parang hindi pa sila ganun ka maalam sa tech
Yeah.
na sometimes makikita nila yung link, oh, may free credits ako or whatever.
Okay, I feel like I have to put this out for everybody's para inform din yung mga listeners natin because I know this is an info that parang napapaise yung mom ko to put out. So this was I think last year. So it's the same case. She got a text message and then sakto that day my brother who came from Canada or US came back here and then they got a text na you've been apprehended by MMDA.
Wow.
Para kasi you were texting while driving. Which was true. Wala pang NCAP that time. Which was true kasi my brother said he probably texted yata. So he asked me to check the link and he was like, oh, can you check out this link? Parang kailangan yata may bayaran. And it came to my mom's cell phone kasi yung number niya yung nakaregister sa plate number. So when she clicked it, I was like, that time I was also tired. So I was like, ano to? Clicked it. And it looked really legit. Like it was an MMDA website and I know they had that. And then clinic ko and then you had to pay like 1K. And I was like, let's pay it through GCash. Kasi, it's more convenient kasi mag-bank transfer. Kasi there were different options there. Cash, card, bank transfer. So I was like, GCash na lang. And then malas pa, sakto that day, my mom just loaded GCash because she needed to pay some bills and pay the maid. So parang kakaload lang, parang 10K yata yun. I'm not so sure the exact amount, but it was a pretty big amount, like five digits. So parang I clicked it and then after that parang sabi ko teka lang. Kasi it kept refreshing. The page kept refreshing and I was like, what's this? And then mom was like, oh, okay na ba? And then when it dawned on me na parang I think this is a scam. So when I checked the GCash, it was drained. The entire amount was drained. And then my mom, ayun nga, no, I didn't want to put this out, pero napapaise siya na nangyari yun. Pero at the same time, it was not really her fault. It was also like, me, I should have double-checked it. So, hindi lang pala yung pati ako rin pala, no? Pero, it looked very legit. So, I just putting this out there for all of our listeners who don't know these new scams.
Biruin mo kung yung mga scammer, kung yung effort na nilalagay nila sa pagka-sophisticated
Gumawa pa
ng
ng
scam.
website,
Diba?
yeah.
If they diverted those efforts towards something productive, we'd probably live better off. Diba?
true.
We'd probably live in a better world.
Dude, diba, sa kaka-sophisticated ng scam, mag-spell check naman kayo, grammar check naman kayo.
Sure, but scammers work hard, so we gotta work harder.
Yeah.
Going back, yung mga uncles and aunties natin, some of them are probably listening as well. Let's cut back on like sharing and forwarding all of this stuff on Viber, like yung mga email threads na
yeah.
sinesend natin since the 2000s, 2025 na. So let's stop that as well.
Or even, I think right now, just to share
YouTube medicine quackery, please stop.
that one plus AI videos. I think
Yun pa.
yun nga, our parents can't really tell AI, which is fair because I've seen AI that's really good. Alam mo yung tipong it looks so realistic, but I just know it's AI because we're in the creative field, but our parents can't tell the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or better yet, they should follow the advice they gave us when we were growing up.
Ask.
Na, ask. Don't trust everything you see. Or
Huwag
you
ka
read.
mag-assume.
Huwag ka
Tanong ka.
mag-assume. Oo.
Right.
Yan.
All right. This next one is probably going to be meatier to some. So let's get into this one. Something you wish you could tell your Chinoy elders.
Diretso mo na, Stan. Sa akin yata yan.
Mahalin nyo naman ang daughters nyo. Signed, eldest daughter.
Ouch.
Woo! Parang ang laman yan. Syempre, wala ka man lang intro sa akin. But it's straight up to me. I totally get it. Like, this was an episode we had in the previous season with Valerie Tan. You guys can check it out. It was about like misogyny in the Chinoy community. I think for a lot of Chinoy women, we were trained to be, to shrink ourselves, to feel like you shouldn't voice out too much kasi you're gonna stand out. And as a woman, that doesn't look nice. I think that summarizes how I feel about, what was taught to me when I was growing up. And I felt like, doing this podcast really empowers me. And I feel like parang it really helps a lot to talk, especially for, I get really touched when friends, even batchmates who message me, batchmates I don't talk to, thank you for saying that in your pod, Kim, kasi that's exactly how I feel. I just didn't know how to capture it. So I feel like I'm reaching out to, certain Chinoy women who just doesn't have the voice.
Yes.
I think yung nakakalungkot lang din is sometimes, I probably can't speak for myself, but like, maybe for the person who sent this, like mahalin nyo naman ang daughters nyo, maybe that's the only way that their parents could love them.
Yeah.
Hindi lang din nila alam paano i-express because they were also raised in such a patriarchal society or patriarchal household.
The eldest daughter is always the most misunderstood one. High five to this person. Can totally relate. I get it. Like, ang daming pressure sa pagiging babae. I think there's a different weight when it's the eldest daughter. May pressure ka na, may certain expectations. So
Forced to grow up fast.
yeah, you're forced to grow up fast too. So
Tapos dapat ikaw yung pwedeng ipresenta sa ibang family.
kaya nga ganito ako, di ba?
The uncle auntie slayer. Yes.
All right, next, something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Allow your children to make mistakes and have them bear the responsibility and accountability. So this is from anonymous male business owner in his 30s.
Yes.
Oh, said ikaw, since you're the business owner here. What do you think?
No, that's true. Because when you make mistakes and have them bear the responsibility, parang you're being trained to have grit and to develop life skills and problem solving skills. But I guess I can see from like where this person is coming from, because I guess from observation as well, I do know a lot of people who just want the business owner as a title, but they don't know how to run it nor adjust to the people who they work with or their customers. So I see this a lot. Now, there are people who just want the CEO title, but they do not want the responsibilities and the leadership that they're supposed to embody in business.
I just want to add also yung making mistakes. Parang I think for me, I was trained to be, to be acceptable, or parang somebody that, can be presented nga to aunties and uncles and then automatically check, approve, But I think for a lot of the eldest daughter or mga elder brothers, parang they're trained to be, perfect, to be the role model. And with that being said, parang a lot of the parents automatically correct, and then they don't want you to make mistakes. Kasi when you make a mistake, parang I feel like it reflects back onto them as a parent. Parang sinapsychology ko na, but I think that's the best way to capture it. Kaya they don't want you to make mistakes.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's really the theme of many Chinoy eldest brother or sister.
Yeah.
Like being held up to a certain pedestal. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the theme of their like counseling sessions.
Yeah, kasi it's always like parang ikaw kasi dapat ikaw nga yung sinusundan ng kapatid mo eh, or you're supposed to be the role model for your brother. If you make a mistake, parang it feels like parang failure ka na, di ba? But I think you should make mistakes to be able to learn. Kasi gusto na parang perfect na, but there's
No, I think there's a darker side to this. Kasi nung una ko itong nabasa, ang naisip ko yung mga parents who always bail their kids out whenever shit hits the fan.
Okay, that's
So,
another
kunwari, they'll throw money at the problem. Diba? Kunwari, you knocked your girlfriend up. Bata ka pa, you're still in college. Sige, let's pay for everything. We'll take care of the child or whatever. Just an example, 'di ba? Or kunwari, nakabangga ka, sige, bayaran na lang natin yung nabangga. Never mind kung may namatay ba or whatever. Not an exclusively Chinoy thing. I think it's more of a rich person thing.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
'Di ba
Yeah,
the parents want to shelter the kids from the realities of the world, so they're gonna throw money at whatever. And it also inadvertently shelters the child to the point na hindi na sila natututong maging accountable to their mistakes.
Yes.
Kala mo sinong parent yung nagsasalita ang puta.
Or pwede din like literally, let's not talk about it na lang.
Yeah.
As if it never happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you made a mistake. Let's not address it.
Let's put it
just
under the rug.
Yeah, let's put it under the rug.
I think that's the usual theme naman for a lot of like Chinoy families. You just sweep it under the rug.
Yes.
And then until it becomes
It explodes
full and
somewhere
it explodes.
else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Parang it also feels like there are some things that you can only speak at your home. Bawal lumabas sa bahay.
I think that's a common. I'm trying to get the Hokkien or
Yes.
the Chinese term. Yung, I'll get back to that
Yeah,
later.
it'll come.
Yeah,
But-
pero I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's like the default, right? If-
And then you have to carry that weight because let's say it's a very dark thing within the
Yes,
and then
family.
you don't talk about
And then
it.
you don't talk about
you
it.
cannot talk
Yes,
about
and
it.
then
Cannot talk about it.
your mental health is just gonna spiral.
Yes.
Like
all
how
the
do you
way.
deal with it?
Yeah,
diba?
who do you
Kung-
talk
kung
to,
wala
right?
kang outlet for that.
All right, moving on to the next one. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. If your business is thriving, consider giving decent salaries to your employees and not just settling for minimum wage salaries and government mandated benefits. From anonymous female freelancer. This one's kind of tricky. Well, for one, hindi ako nagpapasweldo, so wala akong alam about this one. So I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah.
I get this one because one, for example, when it comes to businesses, right? in front of the shareholders, for example, you would say, "Oh, record profits and all that," but then how come that does not reflect in your ability to pay better wages for your, and giving them better benefits, right? So I see this because I guess this is just how I
See it as a business owner.
I mean, and also from what I've observed with other like Chinoy businessmen, it's more of like when a lot of them when they get into business, they have these grand dreams of, megalomania, and for me, I think, and also the idea of what is success, right? Because for me, I believe that you can be successful without exploiting, exploiting the people who you work with and who work under you, and then. Kasi for a lot of people, when they think of success, they think of hostile takeover in the industry, na monopoly everything, you control the pricing, and then you're able to afford all of these grand, extravagant lifestyle. But for me, like that is not my version of what success is. Success, like for me, that's why I get na parang, like if you're able to earn, diba, you should help the people who help your business grow, diba? Because for me, a business will thrive if you take care of your employees. They'll be the one to take care of your customers, especially like in the realms of sales and customer service. When your employees are motivated, they will give you the best. They will give you results. Diba? If you
I
treat
just
them
think it's
fairly.
easier
Yeah.
said than done. Kasi diba,
But
parang like
I've
we could be
seen this.
idealistic and
Yeah.
want this ourselves, but until you're in that position,
I've experienced this myself, and I could say I'm thankful now. Kasi with my business with Studio Rotherwood, where I sell eyewear and vintage eyewear,
Yeah.
I have a marketing team under me, and I compensate them.
Yeah.
Like whatever rates they give, I'm like, okay, I won't negotiate that.
Yeah,
Like
I've
I will
seen
give
that.
you your rates, and then they go above and beyond.
Okay.
Like they're the ones who actually initiate like ideas. Like I don't have to nudge them. They're like, "Hey, Said, I have this idea. We can do this." And then we have fun in our shoots. And it shows in the collaterals that we have to the point that other people would be like, "Hey, dude, I want to be part of your campaign." So for me, it's like you take care of your people. The people will take care of you.
Yeah, that's a very different. Yeah, it's a very tricky question, especially for business owners. Kasi gusto mo maximum profit, less gastos, which is really ideal, diba?
Yeah, but at the cost of what, diba?
No, you know what? I think that's a good point then. That you just mentioned na if you take care of them, they'll take care of you.
Yes.
Kasi, di ba, a lot of people on top, yung mga boss, gusto nila na you also feel ownership of the company. But it's hard to feel ownership of the company if you're getting paid shit for the
Yes.
actual work and the hours that you put in.
Yes.
So I get that.
But I also feel like there's the other side can also be true. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people who go into business feel like it's a responsibility as well.
Yes.
Coming from my family, my parents, for example, they used to be like the corpo, yung
The
office
corpo guys,
people.
yeah.
And then business was their way out of the corporate life.
Yes.
So parang
Same.
there's this feeling na I wanna be the boss that I wish I had when I was growing up. And I also feel like listening to them, it's like, oh, I'm gonna take care of the people kasi they helped me fulfill the dream I had.
Yes.
So parang it's also like a paano ba, like cutting their generational curse.
Yes,
Ganyan.
I feel you because my fresh grad dreams of climbing the corporate ladder were quickly squashed, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just sail my own boat rather than climb the corporate ladder. No more.
All right, let's pivot to something lighter naman.
Okay.
Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. I hate how there's a near 100% chance we'll see someone when we go to Green Hills.
Wait lang. I just want to put it out there. It's not just GH, okay? I can name the malls in Metro Manila. It's GH, Rockwell,
Magnolia.
Podium, and Robinson's Magnolia.
It's hard to soft launch your date over there because the moment that the auntie sees you, your mother will know within 30 minutes.
yeah, I think it's...
Nangyari na ba sa'yo?
Uy, no. Oh. Sino yan? Sino yan? Hello,
No, this goes way back in high school. Like this was like the very first time I went out on a date. What
Hindi ko
happened?
to alam.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
so what happened was I had some ang pao money, right? So I used that ang pao money to take someone out on a date, and then
Where'd you go?
We went to this restaurant that was literally next to Makati Hope Christian School. So that's where all the
Aunties.
the Chinese aunties like hang out, right? So I was eating in this restaurant with my date, and then literally a table down there, like an auntie was sitting there.
Kaya pala alam ng parents
And
mo.
then when I went home, my mom was like, "So who'd you went out with?" And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, where did you? And then that was when I found out that, it's because an auntie was there.
So I just wanted
Yeah.
to say that scene in the first scene in Crazy
Rich
Rich
Asians,
Asians is true.
It shook me to my
Yeah.
core
Yung
when they showed it.
When they were dating and then somebody sent a text
text.
message and then the news just escalated
Yeah.
within 30 minutes or less than an hour.
And then I was
pala
like, flashback.
nagpaalam din pala si Stan nung when we had dinner, like the three of us in
Yeah.
Rob Mag, like you had to tell
Yeah.
your folks, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
with Kim, yung kasama ko sa podcast. to
Right,
be
right,
clear,
right.
right?
Actually, yun, ever since I got together with Arian, who I'm now married to, every time I would have dinner with a female friend or like a female
Yeah.
business associate or like someone I have
Yes,
to
yes,
work
yes.
with, I always make sure to tell someone para lang may magko-corroborate na, I was
Yes.
Yeah.
just with a friend, we were having coffee, we were catching up or kakilala ni ganyan, they can like really attest na I'm not messing around.
Yes, nagpaalam ka.
Nagpaalam ako, yeah. Which in a perfect world, dapat hindi mo na kailangan magpaalam because like I'm a grown-ass man. But sure.
Yeah.
I think the bigger... I acknowledge and validate yung feelings niyo of like it being such a small world na lagi may nagre-report. But I think
Yeah.
for me, the bigger concern when you go to a Green Hills or a Rob Mag on like a Sunday is that I have to look extra presentable.
Oh my God, yeah.
Parang, kasi pag mukha kang basura, tapos may nakakita sa yung classmate,
Yes.
or like, auntie,
It's a-
uncle, nakakahiya sa parents mo, nakakahiya sa asawa mo, or sa whatever, na parang, hindi pa siya nakaangat sa buhay or whatever.
Mukha kang
It's actually a
tambay.
running joke now. Like, for example, we go to Greenhouse. Oh, we didn't see anyone, but we were dressed. But then when we're like just there to do errands, we're like in shirt and shorts. That's when we're like, oh shit, we spawned someone that we know.
Yeah. Nakakabwisit siya. Like for me, especially for me na medyo front-facing ako
Yeah,
because of the
yeah.
nature of my work, nakaka-pressure siya knowing na, if I go to this mall, every other corner may kakilala ako and I have to look presentable. And sometimes, I just want to go out because I have to do an errand. And I just
Yes.
want to be in and out. And I don't want to have to meet and like talk to anyone.
I find this amazing because like what Stan said, I grew up in Bacolod, diba?
Yeah.
This is exactly why I love living here in Manila.
Oh, because there's no one here.
No one here knows you.
Yeah, no one. Lahat ng mga sinasabi niyo, I feel that way pag nasa Bacolod, diba?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but kaya I'm curious tuloy, like, why those
Okay.
places?
Yeah, because Green Hills, for example, maraming Chinoy na nakatira
Yeah.
doon. Maraming mga Chinoy na nakaangat na sa buhay. They live in the subdivisions like Green Hills
yeah,
East, Green
yeah.
Hills West, Xavier Ika, di ba, doon din sa Green
Yeah.
Hills.
Yeah.
So medyo hub siya for Chinoy.
Yeah.
Marami ring Chinoy restaurants and businesses in the
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Even in Robinson's Magnolia, because
Manila.
New Manila,
New Manila.
It's also a
right?
Chinoy hub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rockwell then for the ones who live in
Sa
another
Makati, yung mga
Makati
nakaangat
subdivision.
na. Oo.
Yes.
Yung mga taga Bel Air or
Forbes, Dasma,
Forbes Park,
Chinoys.
Dasma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alam mo ba, nakarelate din ako sa sinabi ni Stan because I live near Rob Mag, right? And then it's so annoying because minsan bibili ka lang ng grocery and then I have to dress up because there was this one time I was dressed down and then I would meet my mom or dad's friends and di ba yan yung nagpa-podcast or di ba yan yung nasa TV and I'm like teka lang tapos naka-t-shirt ako like really dressed down, no makeup, no
Like,
whatever, right?
barefaced,
So
yeah.
so it's just like an extra chore that I have to dress up, put on makeup. Like it's extra harder for a girl, okay? It's extra hard for a girl.
Yeah, no, I get it. Kasi ako problema ko lang is if my facial hair is going out of whack, di ba? Or-
Minsan, I just want to be ugly and go out and just do my thing.
Sure, if you want to be ugly, go right ahead. I don't want to be ugly.
But to be fair sa inyo naman, those places, especially Green Hills, for example, for a provinciano, that's one of the first places you go to.
Green
when you're in
Hills?
Yeah, Green Hills. Like, it's like shopping. Yan yung nasa Civica book natin, di ba? Na pag pumunta ka. Yeah, or like yung sa Robinson's Magnolia. I remember the first time going there, it was like, I had fun, ganyan. So maybe if you're a provincianong Chinoy, you go to these places, no one's gonna recognize you. And
Sure.
it's gonna be fun for you.
Otherwise, no, you have to always look over your shoulder. And, for the longest time, I also had to constantly look over my shoulder. Even nung kami na ni Arya, just because I didn't want anyone texting my mom na, reporting inaccurate information or whatever.
I think so, we had a counter when we went to Green Hills. Sabi ko, let's count with our fingers how many people we've met today by going to Green Hills. And it was peak prime time. And by prime time, I mean it's like Friday or Saturday
Yes.
evening and you would more than 5 people.
Yes.
I think
Like
the worst Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say like every single corner, you just say hi to
Yep.
someone.
The worst part is if you don't want to say hi to them because you actually hate this person. Like,
Ah,
diba, this is
yeah.
someone you
Or do you
really
say
dislike or
hi,
hate.
or
Yeah.
do you just ignore?
No, nakakadagdag yun sa pressure ko to look good when I'm at these places because I want to show na parang you are now beneath me.
This is also why, for me specifically, I always like groan or like, whenever parents are like, hey, I'm in the mood for Gloria Maris hot pot. And I'm like, I'm gonna meet people there. And I'm like, I don't like small talk. I can't.
Yeah. Kasi you have to do that, right? Like,
Like, oh, hey, how are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't
kaya
know what
pala
else to
sometimes
say.
my
Yeah.
parents, when they want to just chill, like
Yeah.
they're like, can we just go to some brand X mall na hindi not one of those malls I mentioned.
Yeah.
So pupunta ka Santa Lucia. Sa Kayinta.
Makainta pa. Dadayo ka ng 10 kilometers just not to meet
To be
any
fair,
Chinoy.
on my end, Robinson's Galleria, I don't see a lot of Chinoys there.
Yeah. Not a lot. Not a lot. You get it.
Robinson's Galleria, no.
Ito. Have your parents ever told you na parang, yeah, you have to make small talk with these people even if you don't like them because you never know when they'll come in handy.
Yeah.
Because my dad has always told me that. And like, I'll say na, I just didn't want to talk to that person. I probably don't dislike them,
Yes.
but I just didn't have the bandwidth to say hi.
Yeah.
And my dad will still give me crap over it. Until now. Kasi parang sasabihin niya na, you never know that person could be a connection or whatever. And I'm just like, I didn't have the energy.
That's exactly my dad, but total opposite of my mom. So that's where they clash. So for me, I take more to my mom than my dad. So I get you.
Yeah, that's my mom. Yeah.
Tsaka madalas din na topic pag nagchichismisan yung tipong, hindi siya namamansin, no? Nakaangat lang siya, hindi siya
Yeah.
namamansin.
They will create a scenario in their head.
Yeah. So it kind of applies not just in malls, but like if you randomly meet someone from your old high school, for example.
Yeah.
Or
in
parang
some
you're not that
airport,
close.
Ganyan.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's weird if you don't say hello to each
Or
other.
acknowledge.
Or acknowledge. man
Yeah.
lang.
No, I think the sweet spot is if you see someone you sort of knew or like was an
Yeah.
acquaintance pero hindi mo naman talaga, ka-close or whatever, you just smile and nod, maybe a small
Yes.
wave.
Yeah.
Yun, ako, happy na ako dun. Like, that's happened to me more.
That's
in the last few years.
acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement,
Like,
yes.
I acknowledge your presence. Hi, I'm not gonna bother you. Please don't bother me.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's hard, right? If you don't have any foundation, tas tatanungin, hey, kumusta?
You're like,
You know,
Ito, baon sa
Wait, to be-
utang. And you're like, what am I to say to that?
100,000 times 10. Times 0.
Yeah. Shit. Okay, moving on. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. You have amusingly terrible long-term strategic thinking skills
Wow,
from
that's-
anonymous aerospace engineer. First off, the fact that we have a Chinoy aerospace engineer is
Yeah.
fucking amazing. But second, I'm gonna need layers to this.
Yeah, like, I mean, where to begin, right? Like,
thinking skills.
what's your I don't know, what's your POV when you first, because this came
sa DMs
yun,
ko eh.
diba?
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
was your POV when you read this?
I don't know. I guess it's just, probably a financial thing. Kasi normally, yun naman yung nirarant ng mga kaedad natin, di ba?
Yeah.
When you talk about like, being terrible with like long-term stuff na parang, hindi mo naisip na you could use your money for this or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
Pero
maybe you don't think about the consequences of your actions. I don't know.
Pero hindi ba long term yung pag-iisip ng Chinoy? I don't know. That's what I got, right? Diba? Usually we think long term. We think about like how to save for the next generation. And
maybe what I'm getting at is that when it comes to, again, our topic with Attorney Kesterson about mana and fam. So I'm thinking maybe it could be in that context na, yes, you thought long term, but not that way na when you pass away, paano yung assets mo?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. And then because on my end, it's a common story with a lot of people na parang, they used to have family business, pero when my dad or mom died, nag-away-away bigla yung fam biz. So that's a common
Yeah.
lore that I would hear.
It's more the strategic part of strategic
Yeah.
thinking.
Yes.
Because honestly, I feel like I think I got my planning mindset from my Chinese side, the Chinoy side. Like long term, we always think about the future.
Yes.
What if ganito, yung mga scenarios like that.
all the possible
All the
scenarios,
possible
diba?
scenarios. But I think also, because it's the strategy part, like there are some things you don't talk about.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
don't talk about it, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
a factor into your decision making,
Yes.
right?
It goes back to not talking about it
Yes,
again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about it.
Or
Yeah.
like what we talked about earlier, sometimes we think that money solves the
Everything.
problem.
Throw money at it,
Throw money
go
at
away.
Yes, and that's not how life works. Diba?
Yes.
Right. I like how you said na your long-term thinking skills or like yung future proofing comes from your Chinese side.
Yes.
Mine comes from my anxiety.
Mine is both. Oh, wait, may I add that one of the things that my friends always... I have one friend who says na first time na nakakita ng taong may ledger sa utak. Like when we go out and I'll be computing stuff. And then when she met my family, and she said, now I get it why yung buong family ninyo may ledger sa utak. Kasi we'll all be solving like
Yeah.
how to get the promos,
Yeah,
what would
yeah,
be the
yeah,
best
yeah.
discount. So yeah, I think thank you.
Yeah. True yan kasi so our comics has like merchandise, right? And then there would be Chinoys coming to us like, hindi ba mas mura if I buy 3? And then
Diba?
ganito. And then they would explain the entire logic behind it na how they got to that number. And then I'm just like, yeah, it's the same case with my parents also. Like parang automatic na ako cute nila sa ulo. And for a time, I'm so bad at math. Like, so bad at math. Like I failed math before. And para sabi ng mom ko, pinapagalitan daw siya dati pag hindi niya ma-compute. For example, what's 10 times ganito? Di ba? What's 100,000 times 0? Hindi
In
niya ma-compute.
Hokkien.
Okay.
Yeah. So parang may ganun na pressure sa kanila.
Right, next. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders.
Uy.
Please follow the standards you set from anonymous male business owner in their 30s. I think this one comes from a general sentiment na it applies to the previous generation pero do as I say, not as I do.
Yes.
Right? And I guess it's frustrating kasi you can see the hypocrisy. But also parang bakit ang taas ng standard sa amin for better or worse whereas for
Yeah.
you guys, okay lang. You know? Yun yung pinaka naisip ko because like I've had these internal monologues where I want to confront my parents over bakit okay lang that the aunties and uncles or that you guys behave this way pero pag ako na pagagalitan nyo ako and I'll never hear the end of it.
Tas boleso ka.
Yeah. Right.
Stan boleso, si.
Sure. Right? Or ano pa ba? For example, tinuturuan ka ng parents mo na wag kang maging sakim, for example. And then merong mga kamag-anak na just because they're of a different generation, because they're older, they're considered uncles or aunties, pero sila yung nagnakaw ng whatever, or sila yung kumuha ng hindi dapat sa kanila, okay lang. You sweep it under the rug. You don't talk about it. You
Yes.
don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Uncle, auntie pa rin sila or whatever.
Yes.
Diba?
Okay.
Pero, and you're not allowed to cast judgment on them
'Cause
even
they're
though they're
still-
in the wrong. Because they're still from a different generation.
Yes, so they're older than you basically, that's it. Goes
Right.
back to, I think, parang may konting dab into like filial piety. Like medyo ano siya eh.
So it's like, does the seniority shield the sin? Something like that.
Or seniority protects you from accountability.
Yeah, basically.
Or parang family is family. So parang period.
Fam-
no matter
yeah.
what.
Yeah.
Ito wala kaming pinatatamaan na specific or in particular. So bato-bato sa langit, stone in the sky. If you get hit, don't you cry. Okay? Pag affected ka, look in the mirror. 'Di ba? Yun lang yun.
Yes.
Okay. Tatawa si Ranel eh. Alright. Next. Ito. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. I want to ask my Angkong for details on his journey coming to the Philippines, what his personal circumstances were, and what his plans were prior to marrying my ama. So that's from Gerard Siato. He didn't want to be anonymous. Gerard adds, this was on the Facebook page, na patay na yung Angkong niya. So literally no chance, say for I guess on a Ouija board or something, to actually ask the Angkong for these details. And yeah, I actually share this sentiment. Like there's a part of me that wishes na I could have had an adult conversation with my grandfathers in particular. 'Di ba? Like now na mas may alam na tayo about the world, mas conscious na tayo about our identity or our family history, like talk to our grandfathers and ask these questions.
Yeah. I can relate with Gerard kasi my Angkong was my only grandparent that I never met. So literally the one that technically made me Chinoy was someone I never met. He died when my father was just 10 years old. So we never got to be both. Even
Yeah.
my father, he never had much memories of his father. And that's really the question that me and my sister always talk about. Like when we end up like having problems, we think like we have a grandfather who literally left his home
Yeah.
and came here to the Philippines, met our grandmother, had and lived a life here. So it's like it's quite an enigma. Wow, enigma.
Yeah.
Yan yung ano. And I guess many Chinoys here in the Philippines also have that, especially in the province, because like when you're in the province, you not only have to cope with the fact na you speak a language that's most likely different from Tagalog. Ibang-iba pa siya sa Manila na
Yeah.
style. I found out nga just through the stories my grandfather came from, went through Zamboanga.
You
So
ever
he
want to
learned-
ask him about, bakit Zamboanga? Or ba't
Exactly.
Bacolod sa dinami-dami ng
Diba?
lugar?
So, and then you realize as well that the Chinoy community here in the Philippines, hindi lahat dumaan ng Manila, right?
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So parang, how did you literally find all these cities
Oo nga
that
eh.
some Filipinos don't even go
Yeah.
to, diba?
It's very specific, no?
Yeah.
Like what's it like? Say my ama, my guama. If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong na lang, yung alam ko is she came from Basa province in Mindanao, and then eventually their family moved to Cebu. So parang for a while when I was younger, I went to Cebu. So parang napaisip rin ako, what made you want to move, diba? Parang
Yes.
province to province, was there more opportunity there? So there's just so many things that you want to ask. Pero minsan, hindi na natin natatanong, or, you know, you didn't, like Renel, you didn't get to meet your grandpa.
yeah. But and then with the relatives that I got to meet my grandmother. She's like Bisayang Bisaya. I'm really curious. How did you literally talk to our
Yes.
grandfather?
Yeah.
And they had 12 kids. My
Whoa.
father's
How?
the youngest.
Whoa. Well,
So, like-
there's probably the universal language, guys.
Yeah, but like how? And then
How?
How?
The universal language is the language. Hindi mo kailangan ng mouth.
or yeah, but yeah, so it just amazes me how many of the stories of our ancestors are literally stories of, you know, starting out new,
Yeah.
adventure to an extent, like
Yeah,
meeting
yeah, yeah.
strangers, relying on strangers.
Yeah,
So yeah.
It's so interesting, no? I think for me also, like, that was something that got me into, like, Chinoy culture as well. Like, parang yung origins. And then for a while, I was like, bakit tayo nag-Hokkien sa bahay? Tapos when I go to school, I speak in English. And then some of my classmates can't even understand what I'm talking about, diba, when I speak in Hokkien. So, may mga ganun. So, it got me interested. And then, for me, kasi my family, it was my great-grandpa who migrated here. And then, same story. Like, you know, nag-assimilate siya dito sa culture. And then same question, how did you communicate, di ba?
Yeah.
Pero kami kasi parang it was more of like both grandparents were Chinese. So it's more of like nag-assimilate lang talaga sa culture. Pero minsan parang naisip ko, exaggerated ba yung mga kwento na parang, kung yari ako, yung great-grandpa ko daw came here with nothing but a
Yeah, di ba?
t-shirt na hindi daw
Size niya.
kasha. Alam mo, minsan parang these are things that I only seen in dramas. And I feel like they're exaggerated. But at the same time, parang when I ask other people, it's the same story. So I'm like, okay, so it's actually true pala.
Or baka pare-pareho lang yung mga grandfather natin lahat.
Sa isang barko lang pala.
Baka nag-beat na sila pala dati.
Tapos may baggage limit pala sila. Hand carry lang yung dala nila.
I came here with only one shirt, not even my size. But on my end, I've never met my grandfathers on both sides. So I've never experienced having like a grandfather. But like for me in general, I am always fascinated with stories now. For example, the reason why I have on my Chinoy side is Mercado because he was a merchant back in the day. So that's why he adopted the surname Mercado. So for me, it's like I'm very drawn to that kind of like the journey that they took. And then, he has a family pala in Taiwan. And then he left them to have a better life here in the Philippines. Tapos he had a second family. So yung may mga those types of things in history na parang for me, I find it fascinating.
Parang hindi ka ba na-guilty? Iniwan mo sila dun?
Yeah, like apparently it's a common story pala whenever
my
they
guapo's
find
also like that.
Oh, shit.
He had a family then in China. And then he left them. And, started a second family here with my guama. So,
Oh shit.
yeah.
Okay.
So I felt that. Ako, the only thing I want to ask my angkong, so father side, is ano kaya yung feeling nung kinidnap siya? Because kinidnap siya nung bata siya eh. Ng
What?
kamag-anak na merong sinister plot that involves pagnanakaw and everything.
Yeah.
So gusto ko naman naman parang ano yung experience niya nun. So yun
That's a
lang.
deep lore.
Deep lore.
Pero the immigrant story has always been about the journey naman.
Yes.
The journey and the grit and the grind of making it out there.
And may I add, like, the fact that our ancestors at one point thought of the Philippines as a place for opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Wow.
Yeah.
Anong nangyari?
Yeah.
Oh,
Alam mo
Thank
ba?
you for cursing us for generations to come.
So it's so funny when we hear, what's happening now, and
Yeah.
we get
What happened
comments,
before.
racist comments
Yes.
from Filipinos who ask, oh, san ba, ano yung loyalty niyo and all that.
Yeah.
You kind of want to tell them, at one point our Chinese ancestor wanted the Philippines, so why would we want to
go back.
Yeah.
Diba?
I
At one
just,
point, they made a mistake.
alam mo ba, gusto ko lang idagdag. My brother and I were actually talking about this also. Tapos sabi ng brother ko, di ba ang dami namang diaspora all around the
Yeah.
world? Bakit Pilipinas? Pwede naman Singapore. Pwede naman yung mga ibang countries daw sa Southeast Asia.
Diba?
Bakit daw dito? Siguro kasi I think just to add, I got the story from my uncle who actually took the time to talk to my great grandpa. And then he said that back in the day daw, the Philippines was considered prime real estate or prime property kasi back in China, di ba communist na, it was cold, there was nothing to eat, they only had sweet potato or something like that. So coming here to the Philippines, you don't need to deal with the cold weather. Like there's no winter, it's just summer and then the rainy season. You can easily adapt to that.
Fast forward to the current day na tayo mismo, mga proud na Chinoy, laking Pilipinas, pinanganak sa Pilipinas. Tayo rin yung nagre-reshare ng meme ng baby na pinanganak. Tapos yung caption, tang ina Pilipino na naman ako.
Why was I 12 years old? I could have bought a house.
yung alam mo yung meme na yung nasa womb ka pa, it's a baby photo.
Tang ina Pilipino na naman ako.
Hindi, me wasting my time by not buying real estate.
Alright, moving on. Sabi ng parents natin, tangina nakakaya itong mga gagong to. Alright, something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Black is just a color from anonymous female in her 50s.
Uy.
Ramdam ko to kasi I love black.
Why?
I love black. I just love the color. It's so elegant.
Okay.
And then di ba, parang when I was younger, especially when I think the elders were around, my grandparents were around, they didn't want me wearing black. Just because it's a color of
Of death, yeah.
of death, mourning. So parang
Mang Ching O Siak, Ching Ang
Ching Ang
Siak.
Siak. So don't wear black, wear red.
Ah.
Red is the lucky color. Black is just not suitable. So
Do you remember the song?
Yes.
Yeah.
So back in 2012, there was this band called Metal 168, and they
Yes.
would make songs that were in Hokkien, and then heavy metal siya.
Yeah.
And then they had this song called Guay Amay Sidit, my ama's birthday. And then the hook was Mang Ting O Siak, Ting Ang Siak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the entire story was birthday ni ama, so nasa Gloria Maris kami. Tapos nasa Green Hills kami, parang gano'n. Tapos parang yung hook parang Mang Ting O Siak, Ting Ang Siak. Yan. So,
Complete with the screamo voice
Yeah.
and the metal shredding.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is lit.
Something to search on YouTube later.
Yeah. The black is just a color thing. I actually went through something like this when I was dating my non-Chinoy ex. I remember she told me na parang one of the reasons, sabi niya sa akin, one of the reasons why I don't want to date a Chinoy again, and then here I come.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, I don't want to be forced to wear red when I just want to wear black. It turns out, she attended some birthday party ng family ng ex niya na Chinoy din. And then, sinabihan siya na mag-red. Ayaw niya kasi wala siyang red. So, she wore black out of spite. So, alam mo yun, na-bad shot siya.
yeah.
So, ayun, parang sinasabi niya sa akin, I don't want to have to go through that again. Knowing na medyo masunurin din kami when it comes to traditions and stuff.
But di ba we have a lot of these things, even it's not necessarily limited to Chinoys lang
Yes.
din,
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
In New Year, di ba, we can't wear
Even
black,
Pinoys din, di ba? Even Pinoys na rin. Like, you go to a birthday party ng Pinoy and
Oo.
you wear black or white, medyo mapapatingin na rin yung mga
Yes.
tao sa'yo, di ba?
Oh, kahit hindi man red, something colorful.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, would you say it's like a general superstition na,
Yes,
no?
yeah.
Parang hindi lang siya limited to,
Or feeling ko it might have been originally a Chinoy practice, but it just assimilated.
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
like the
Maybe.
Although, again, like in our Civica book,
Yeah.
right? When there's always that thing. What did we learn from the Chinoy, from the Chinese? What were parts of Chinese influence to Filipino culture? They'll always say superstitions.
Yes.
Right? And all these superstitions. So maybe, yeah, you're right.
That might have been one
it
of
might have
them.
been one of them.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to say maybe Filipinos have a lot of superstitions too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just that. So
So, para sigurista.
Parang sigura, oo.
Ako rin kasi parang whenever it's like birthdays or the New Year, I've like my mom would say mang tiao kang ching o siya, just wear red like
Yeah.
or like don't wear black deliberately, just wear red na lang.
And it's also a
And I just
pakikisama
follow.
thing.
Oo, parang ako I just wear it naman kasi para I mean our lucky color sige
Yeah.
I'll wear red, 'di ba? Pero ako kasi parang personally it's a preference. I like black. I have a black cat. So you can imagine the horror of my parents when I brought home my black. I have a black cat. His name is Bon Bon. So I've always wanted one. And then when I brought him, I'm like, oh, diba, ano yan? Ganun. So,
But they love him now.
but they love him now. Ba yung nag-360 yung ano nila.
So
Now,
black is just a color.
Yeah.
Black is
Nag
just
180 kasi pa 360. Kasi 360
Bumalik
went back to the start.
hindi naman saan ako hanap ng red cat? Wala na. Orange, sige, fine. Pero wala na.
No, you know how sa culture, when someone dies in the family, 2 years ka hindi pwede magsuot ng red or any adjacent colors.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard of that.
so
pero
okay,
not so
Seth is
familiar.
reacting, not audibly, but he's reacting. So this is the first time you're
No,
hearing
because
this.
I've never experienced
A death in the family. Good for you, Seth.
Yeah.
Okay, so my ama passed away October of 2023. So malapit na kami magbabang luksa in like a couple of months.
Okay.
And my God, can I just say, I'm so fucking excited to wear red again. And like orange and peach and salmon and yellow.
yes.
Kasi 2 years ako hindi pwede magsuot ng mga ganon unless it's like for a work event or whatever.
Oh.
So medyo hassle siya because medyo sawa na ako magsuot lang ng mga muted colors.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that you're more, the more we do this podcast, I'm so surprised that Stan is more traditional. Like your family is like really traditional when it comes to
you
that.
adhere more.
Yeah, you follow.
It goes with the pakikisama type of thing.
Yeah.
And Ama's death really did hit us hard. It hit me pretty hard. So I kind of don't want to fuck with the bad juju or whatever. And for me, parang, respeto ko na rin for Ama.
For her memory.
I would do the same.
So I just can't wait to like stop having to wear non-red or non-red adjacent colors.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's also like one of the few times I've heard of that. So, I mean, narinig ko siya, pero hindi, siguro like our side didn't really like.
Or baka puro mother side yung mga deaths in your family kaya hindi kayo masyado affected.
yeah,
Kasi diba,
yeah.
it's usually a father side type of thing. Like kapag ka-surname mo or ano.
Okay, gets, yeah.
okay.
Well,
Okay.
my grandpa, my angkong passed away when I was young. So parang I didn't get to experience that.
Or maybe hindi mo na maalala because you were
I
a
was
kid.
really young. Like I think I was 5.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But I think with this particular comment na black is just a color, yung hugot niya talaga is sometimes these things can be very, very, very inflexible.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I guess what kind of helps me when I'm in a situation where I may not understand why, but it's imposed on you. Parang iniisip ko na lang, pakikisama, but also like, if yung request comes from a person who I care for,
or I
think of it,
respect,
I respect, okay, I'll do that na lang because I respect that person even though I don't get it. Ganyan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Ako, I'll just wear it para ano na lang.
Wala nang gulo.
Right. Next, something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Bakit paise culture tayo when we want to do the exact opposite? From anonymous female in her 30s. Kim, this one came into your DM. So can you contextualize this a bit? Ano ba yung paise culture na sinasabi niya?
Yeah, I think we always hear this word paise. Paise, ganun, or mang paise. Or it literally translates to nakakahiya or...
Don't be embarrassing.
Yeah, don't be embarrassing, ganun. So I think our culture has a lot of paise na aspects, diba? Let's say, I think the most simple or funny way to put this is, let's say, when the bill comes out, and then you eat out with friends or a really good friend, diba? Tapos pag-aawayan niyo yung bill. Pero sa totoo lang, both of you actually want the other person to pay the bill, diba? And I had a long chat with my uncle about this. Tapos natawa rin siya. Sabi niya, totoo nga yun, diba? Parang ganun. Nahihiya tayo to do certain things or nahiya tayo to say certain things kasi either paise tayo dun sa kabilang tao or parang, we're I don't know, like maybe you can expound on this. Like we talked about this
Like for
in the
me,
car.
I think it's more because of paise culture, we sacrifice clear communications from one another.
yeah.
Like you want to be there. You want to say something clear that might help someone, but because of paise culture, you can't. And from personal experience, I get it. Kasi, like, there are things that you want to do that might help the person, but because maybe senior or whatsoever, paise if you say it, if you point it out, but you just really want to say things for the betterment of the other person. So, and another thing rin kasi with Paise culture, for me, it's annoying kasi you want to be clear about certain things. But because of Paise culture, you can't like talk about
Parang-
nitty-gritty things na parang kasi if you do a Paise,
Parang very performative, I
Very-
think you would say.
yes, performative, just to not be embarrassing to kasi yung Paise culture, if you do something embarrassing, takot nila, it might reflect back
Yeah.
to your parents.
At
Na
saka parang I think it's also because like I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but I always hear this from in general, like parang very important yung image, 'di ba? So parang
saving face.
yes, parang so Paise is a very big thing in the culture.
And if I'm not mistaken, did I hear this correct? Like Chinoy community is a very shame-based culture.
Yeah.
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 Asian communities in general.
Yeah. General,
So
oo.
if you stick out like a
Sore thumb.
sore thumb, you get hammered back
Yeah.
in. So
And I think this is one aspect of the Chinoy culture that also resonates with the rest of Filipino culture, diba? Yung hiya.
yeah.
Yeah.
In Bisaya, we have that word ikog. Yeah.
Okay.
So parang yung pakiramdaman of it all. And I'm curious tuloy, like, okay, if it's something that's so prevalent in our culture, does it have like, was there like a purpose to it? Is there a good side to it? And I wonder, because it's just there, right?
And for me, I think it falls back to, you know how Chinoys in general are very non-confrontational. They avoid confrontation. And if there's a problem, what do? You sweep it under the rug. Kasi it's paise to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think, well, I don't know if there's like a good thing kasi ako puro negative lang din yung naisip ko and I just wanna pile on even further. So
Yeah.
what I'll say is, the moment Paise culture gets overthrown or gets set aside,
Yeah.
our podcast will cease to exist.
I agree.
Yeah, agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason why we're here is because we talk about
Yes.
topics that are generally considered paise.
Taboo. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Taboo.
On that note, something that you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Why do we keep secrets about anything sensitive? Maybe it's the reason why there are a lot of mental health issues
Yeah.
in the Chinoy community
Okay.
from anonymous female. Ito lang, let me just say this before
Yeah.
you chime in, Kim. I think there are a lot of mental health issues everywhere, full stop.
Yes.
Kasi ngayon lang din natin siya pinag-uusapan talaga ng mas fleshed out.
Yeah.
That being said, because of the Paise culture, because of our avoidance towards everything taboo, I think that lends itself to everything sensitive being swept under the rug, which Seth just mentioned moments ago.
Model minority nga, di ba? So, I think, just to add to this, minsan kasi, when we avoid talking about something, it's gonna build up. And I think parang yun nga, no, ang daming, sometimes even mental health itself is not being addressed in the Chinoy community or it's not that big yet. Or parang minsan we just, again, sweep it under the rug na parang, it's okay. Ganun. But it's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
And also to add, like mental health, the issues of mental health has always been around. It's just that we have terminologies for it now. We can identify. But even with the older generations, like I would observe now, yes, there are mental health problems, but it just comes out in different ways. That's why you have a lot of, I guess growing up, I would have a lot of like boomer generation figures who have a lot of anger issues, who have a lot of like even the slightest thing they'll like explode, right? So for me, that's like a symptom of an unaddressed mental health issue. So
I actually don't know how parang how some people can take it by not talking about it, diba?
Yeah.
Parang ganon. I honestly feel the weight of it because there are some things na gusto mo i-share, let's say to your closest friend, but you can't kasi again,
Yes.
diba? Either paise or parang what's
Within
the family
family lang.
is
Yes.
within the family.
and which is why also it's taboo to see a mental health professional.
Because that's someone outside the family.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Tapos you're sharing all these things
Sensitive
na
things.
sensitive,
Yes.
'di ba, na hindi mo pwede i-share. So,
But I feel like it's also a reflection of like, you know, how we're also like the product of people who had no idea what they
Yes.
were going through, or they couldn't just
Yes.
have time to process all these things.
Yes.
And we're lucky enough to be the generation that can start these conversations. In our family, for example, like it took a while for us to talk about anxiety as a thread. Kasi it always came as, kasi nag-aalala lang siya. Or, di ba, you have to be forward-looking or you have to be concerned about other people. But ibang usapan yung anxiety that's already crippling.
Yes.
And anxiety that leads to like anger issues and all that. And we, like in our family, for example, I mentioned talking about anxiety. My sister talks about anxiety. Then we talk to our cousins. And then we realize, baka anxiety din pala yan. So this whole time, we were dealing with something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we thought it was just us being weird. Pero yun pala, it's something that could be treated.
Yes.
Or at the same time, something that could be managed.
Right.
So, yeah. And also, props to our anonymous poster because this is a sentiment that many people in our community, our generation, are having difficult conversations with.
Yes.
And we're starting it. And I guess we have to give credit to the
And-
people who have these
Yeah.
conversations.
Yes. And can I just add now for the uncles and aunties who keep sharing about, physical health and but your mental health is also part of
Yeah.
your physical health because mental health problems would imply like an imbalance in the brain and the brain it's a physical organ. So therefore it is a matter of physical health. Because I do know a lot of seniors who are healthy
Yes.
physically but because of their mental health issues their physical health deteriorated along with
That's
it,
true.
right? So for me, it's like take care of your mental health, and your physical health will follow.
Health is health.
Yeah.
Health is health.
I think it's also a very new concept, right? Like even in like non-Chinoy circles, then it's just starting to pop up right now. Yung mga mental health, advocating for mental health. So it's nice to see this, popping up 2025.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, last few here. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Why do Chinoy parents always impose filial piety on their kids? Bawal ba na yung anak gumagawa lang ng sarili nilang choices from anonymous male in their 30s?
All right.
I'm sure you've heard of yung boleso, Stan. Or
yes,
yung
yeah.
a boleso is very when you're answering
Yes.
back, or you're just trying to, let's say, maybe prove a point, or you're trying to maybe assert yourself a bit, diba? It's already boleso. So I think a lot of us millennials, maybe I think to a certain extent Gen Zs have heard of this
Yes.
this term.
I think yung issue lang naman with the filial piety thing is to always assume na your parents are in the right when sometimes you're able to make a decision kasi informed decision din naman siya.
Yeah.
Na
Yes.
even if parang you don't always have to tell your parents everything about everything anymore. Like if you're already independent, diba? Parang you establish that sort of boundary. And I think ako personally, I can speak to this because there are things that I don't talk to my parents about anymore now that I no longer live with them, diba? Like kunwari yung sa amin ng wife ko, sa amin lang yun ng wife
Ah,
ko,
yes,
diba?
yes.
So I get it. I understand yung sentiment na to. I think it just also zooms out sa larger Pinoy community when you talk about things like utang na loob. But that's
Yeah.
that's another slippery slope right there. So
And I guess it also perpetuates this mindset that that anyone who's older than you automatically deserves respect.
yes, yun.
Diba?
I think that's the more problematic one. Na
Yeah.
anyone who's a generation up is automatically worthy of
Automatically.
respect,
Parang-
even when that's not the case.
Yeah, yun nga 'di ba? Parang even in school, I remembered we had a teacher who got mad at us because we asked them. Nagkamali lang siya. We call this the oblong episode because sinabi niya alam niyo yung one intermediate paper.
Yeah.
You fold it crosswise
Yeah.
or lengthwise,
Yes.
right? Nagkamali siya. Sinabi niya fold into oblong.
Okay.
Ibig niya sabihin lengthwise.
Right.
Pero may isa akong classmate, sinabi, Lauscher, oblong. Lauscher, oblong. Nagalit siya. Tapos kaming lahat pinalhod sa chair.
Oh, damn.
Kasi boleso kami. Bakit daw? Ako yung matanda. As in, ganun yung sinabi niya. Parang ako yung matanda.
Yeah.
Hindi, parang sinabi niya, ba't mo pinoint out?
Yes.
Pero di ba nagkamali siya eh.
Right.
Di ba? So it's like, boleso, automatic ba na dahil mas matanda ka, never ka magkamali? Or automatic ba na pag nagkamali ka, you have no room to improve or to change or whatever? Yun. Di ba sabi nga ng ating favorite Chinoy icon si Bea? So, ang respect, hindi yan ini-impose, in-earn yan. So I guess,
Alam mo, gusto ko idagdag yan for
Diba?
perfect. You added it.
Diba? So I guess it's really the imposition of it all
Yes.
that's frustrating. And take note, this is also a recurring theme in all the previous anytime we start questioning about hot takes on the different issues, it's because they're imposed. It's the imposition of it all that kind of feels weird and performative.
Yeah.
Na, diba?
Yeah.
Shout out to Beatrice Saw. That's a name I haven't heard in a very long
Oh
time.
yeah.
You're an icon, nakarating ka sa Bacolod.
All right, last couple here. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Bakit kailangan Chinoy ang hoe or significant other kapag babae ka? Pero pag guy flexible, okay lang if not Chinoy or Chinoy from anonymous female. So this is obviously Great
Great
Wall
Wall,
related and
yeah.
how there's a double standard for
Yes.
most parents who impose the Great Wall on their kids, 'di ba? Na pag lalaki ka, okay lang because Chinese ka, you get to keep the name, etc. Pero pag babae, because you're being married off into the other family, no talaga kapag hindi Chinoy yung mapapangasawa. O, Kim.
Siyempre, lahat nakatingin sa akin, di ba? I think this is a take that I actually, it's not coming from me, okay? So disclaimer lang. I read it from a thread and yung thread na yun, it was saying something about, let's say if it's a girl, yun nga, like what Stan said, married out, so you have to, it's harder for the girl to assimilate because you're already kind of like adjusting to the culture, plus mag-a-adjust ka pa if it's, diba, if it's non-Chinoy. So I think it's extra difficult. Tas pag guy naman, I think yung POV daw there is it's easier to assimilate to the Chinoy culture kasi you're married into the fam. Tama ba? Parang ganun yung POV nung nasa thread.
Like it's
diba?
the-
So kaya mas flexible for guys. But again, you know, the
So
double
whoever
standards.
the husband is, siya yung magsiset ng what the general customs and traditions are at home. Yan ba
Yeah.
yun?
I
Yung
think
ganun?
parang we kind of dabbed into this in the episode I had with Valerie,
Yeah.
diba? So the episode about yung putting a lot of weight again on yung mga sons or yung mga male. So it's rooted in that.
All right, next. Something you wish you could say to your Chinoy elders. Let me be. Regarding interracial relationships from
Basically
another
14,
anonymous person.
the same, yeah.
Parang yung previous one.
But
Okay.
it's applicable also to many things in life.
Yeah.
Just let me be.
Let me be. Yeah. But this is my DM, and knowing her situation, it's that. The Great Wall as well.
Ito, why are tattoos and piercings considered pang hippie or generally dirty?
Hippie ka pala eh.
Bawal ba self-expression lang from anonymous female?
Hippie. Hippie ka pala, Stan. Well, actually, sige, fine. Ako rin naman. Ito, piercing right over here.
No, when I first got my tattoos, I pinaalam ko siya and I said na it was a tribute to my father's side of the family. Kasi hindi naman talaga my
Yeah,
first
yeah,
tattoos yung the generations of my family in Mandarin. Or in Chinese characters. And then after that, parang meron na eh. And then I also started being a bit of a smart ass about it. I'd be like, bakit? May tattoo din naman si Ama, di ba, yung eyebrows. Si Mami meron din naman, di ba? Wala kang kilay. So pinatattoo mo, di ba? Anong pinagkaiba nito doon sa, gusto ko ilagay sa
I
katawan
will
ko?
save that.
Classic Stan. Like, that's something I would expect coming out from you.
Di ba, pinatattoo mo na yung kilay mo eh. Ba't yung dragon bawal?
Or yung ano yung iba,
Huwag
parang,
kang piloso po, ha?
Boleso.
Boleso. Kaya nga, Stan Boleso, sige, di ba?
no. Pero ano, I think for me, it's because again, diba, if you stick out, like, diba,
yeah.
and also if you don't fit the typical expected mold of what a good Chinoy should look like,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
And on your end piercing, but like
Yeah, I have like 6. So, I don't know. Like,
Hindi na makita eh. You've got long hair. What are you talking about?
long hair.
Who cares?
Remember-
Remember, tinatalk in ko minsan, di ba?
remember when you joked sa parents mo, you photoshopped a nose piercing.
I don't think I ever said this on the pod, but there was a time that I found it pretty, like the nose piercing. Just pretty, but I don't think I can get one. Pero ayoko magsalita ng patron. But you know what? Like, I found it pretty, and the nose piercing, I think you call it like the Medusa piercing or something, like when you have one in the nose. So I was like, oh, that's really pretty. Tapos sinasabi ko, I was just sharing to my parents. Like, sabi ko, oh, ang ganda. Parang it's pretty lang, ganun. But I don't plan to get it, whatever. And then, parang sabi na, hindi, wag, don't get that, ganun. Okay na yung piercings mo sa tinga. Okay na yun, ganun. And then, what I did was, just to put like to make fun and just to get a laugh about it. Like yung ginawa ko, nag-photoshop ako ng piercing dito sa nose ko. Tapos sinend ko sa dad ko. Individually sa dad ko, sinend ko rin sa mom ko na parang, hey, parang, hey, ganda ba? Ganun. And when I got home, they were like, patingin nga. Tanggok ko. Or let me see. Like, parang, you didn't get that piercing, did you? And I'm like, no, that was Photoshop. Patingin nga, and then they really inspected my nose and I had like and I'm like, it was a joke. Kasi minsan, alam mo yung parang, for me kasi parang doing, just to share lang, just doing the comics and, doing this pod is just for me, like, it's just a relief. Like, it's my personality. Makengkoy naman ako. Pero, being a good Chinoy daughter, like, parang tinatago ko yung pagkakengkoy ko. So, it's really hard to express these things. So, kaya parang minsan, nahirapan rin ako mag-joke. Hindi ko alam if you guys experience that. Like, siguro personal experience. Like, yung mahirap mag-joke. Kasi
Yes.
minsan, they take everything seriously.
Yes.
Even though you're just joking, right?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes my dad's like that, na parang, you can't crack a joke sa kanya. But my family, for the most part, medyo kalog din kami. So,
okay,
we
yeah.
also joke around and, sometimes it's a self-deprecating joke, sometimes
Yeah,
it's a self-awareness
yeah,
joke.
Yeah.
So, parang I don't encounter that problem as much. Maybe because sobrang accepted na rin nila na may pagkagago kaming lahat. All of us.
Yung tattoo pa lang alam na.
Like
Yeah.
on my end's funny. Like if it's my dad, when I joke with my dad, a joke can become a sermon with
Yeah.
him. But with my mom, she's the one with the green jokes. So I'm like, how did you guys even get together? But can I also share then not just with the tattoos and the piercings? Because I've
really?
also
What else?
I've also experienced this myself, and I don't have tattoos or piercings, but I just dress differently from and then I would get a lot of, especially from the seniors, na parang, why are you dressed like that? Can't you just dress like normal? But I'm like, as an artist who graduated from CSB, right? Parang I value the being able to you express yourself, right? So this is how I express this is like my personal branding, and I enjoy it.
Yes.
So which is why for me it was annoying na parang bakit ang daming nag-impose on how I should present myself to the world. Wala nga akong tattoo, wala nga akong pero ang dami yung nitpick. So for me nga, being like this nga, practical nga kasi I've had this for like almost 10 years. I never had to change it. So for me, I saved out on money pa on not trying to jump into whatever's uso. So yung mga ganyan. So I can relate to si sender neto na this is just self-expression and we're not hurting anyone.
Kaya mahirap maging Chinoy artist.
Yes.
Yeah, I think self-expression is very limited. Kaya yun nga, no, I think it goes back to like there's not a lot of Chinoy representation in media kasi a lot of us are either too scared to go out there and either do this podcast or be Chinoy. Kasi parang usually be a model minority, just don't stick out like a sore thumb, just be acceptable, be acceptable to
Parang keep your head down, basically.
You're not
Please bring honor to us all.
to self-censor at an early age.
Yeah.
All right, we got one last
Yeah.
DMC Kim,
Yeah.
so let's get to that before we close
Okay,
this one
so
out.
this is from another unknown.
Anon, yeah.
I think it's quite similar to also the other stuff that were sent to us. But sabi niya, siguro I want to say na hindi lahat ng panahon tama sila. They need to adapt in changes in society. Hindi lahat disrespectful ang hindi nag-agree sa kanila. So it goes back to same thing yung boleso.
Yeah,
Parang
yeah.
ganun.
It's something we've heard countless times.
Yes.
Before the pod, during the pod, even after recording episodes of the pod. Wala, tanggap na natin na sometimes it boils down to a difference in opinion and also just an unwillingness to see the mirror that's being held in front of them.
Yes.
So
The generation gap also. Plus, I think yung the times right now. So there's a lot of social media. So there's really a big gap. So may mga ganun na factors din kasi.
And to begin with naman with time, traditions and culture always like shift, right?
Yeah.
And then they assimilate or localize to where they're being practiced. Diba? Like there are a lot of things that Chinoys practice that mainlanders don't, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, that's why I agree with si last sender. They're not always right, especially when it comes to the times that we're in now.
Yes.
Ayun.
And ultimately, I think it also comes from a place of love, di ba? Na parang
yeah.
you're frustrated because you care for them
Yes.
enough to care.
Yes.
So if they make a mistake, you want to correct them. In the same way na you expect din naman na if you make a mistake, obviously they'll correct
Oh,
you,
yeah.
di ba?
Diba?
But it goes both ways. And
Yes.
like talking about all these different topics, kahit mahirap siya, you want to start it because mahal mo nga siya. So parang,
Yes. Like I'm saying this because I don't want you to get embarrassed
Yeah.
with the younger generation,
Yeah.
right?
There's just so many ways to say I love you in Chinese. Ganun na lang yun, di ba?
Di tia be. Oh.
Yeah. So many ways.
All right, that brings us to the end of the mailbag. It's a pretty long episode, but we hope you enjoyed us just riffing off of each other's stories and experiences, and getting to hear from the community as well. You know, it doesn't happen a whole lot. We promise to do more of these kasi masaya naman talaga siya, and it's nice to get your perspective and for us to get to share our insights directly. Then, so it actually feels like we're talking to you instead of us just releasing the podcasts for you to listen to. And if you want to keep the mailbag going, follow us on social media for the next mailbag post. It's at Now Steaming Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Individually, it is @_Stancy for me.
For me, it's at Kimberly Mass for both of us. Me and Sed, that's at Soasian Comics for other works. So, Sed?
And for me personally, I'm on Instagram at Cedric C. Cheng.
Ikaw, Renel, do you want to out yourself on social?
I have Instagram at Ram Cheng.
All right. Sige. So if you want to get more of Ranel in more ways than one, it's at Ram Cheng on Instagram. All right. Thank you to our friends from the Pod Network for all of their help with production and post-production. And we will see you on the next episode of Now Steaming. On behalf of Kimberly Mas, Cedric Cheng, and Ranel Cheng, I'm Stan C. Reminding everyone as we sign out na hindi lahat ng Chinoy
Oo lang ng oo.
Thank you for listening to Now Steaming. Now Steaming is hosted by Stan C, Kimberly Mas, and Cedric Cheng. Ranel Cheng is our writer and researcher. Our show is produced, mixed, edited, and mastered by the Pod Network.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.